The Against All Odds podcast, sponsored by Oak Forest Recovery.
Welcome to the Against All Odds podcast. I am your host, Rachel. We're here with co-host RJ and Jessy Shapori.
Hey.
Welcome. I'm so glad you're here. We just also got back from camp with each other.
Yeah.
And it was a beautiful experience.
Camp Soberfest.
Did you guys both go like the whole time? Like from, what was it, Wednesday to...
I got out here Tuesday and then camp started Wednesday morning. First thing we went. Did you come Thursday?
I couldn't come till Thursday. I
Okay.
guess like the cabin we had wasn't ready until Thursday, which I was so sad about. But, but everyone was like welcoming that was already there, which was great.
Yeah. She came out with a shattered ankle. I feel like we need to talk about what you've done to your ankle.
Okay.
Is it still?
Yeah.
That was a while ago, right?
I know. March 1st, I shattered it.
Wow.
And then I had 3 surgeries in that month. And then
Snowboarding? Yeah.
At 60 miles an hour.
Yeah.
59.9.
Yeah, 50, yeah.
But
basically.
no, it's
you
funny
know
because
it's
I
59.9?
was tracking my speed and I kept like increasing as like each trip I would get faster and faster. And then I used to race border cross when I was like younger, so I was like, I'm getting back into it, you know. And then my goal was like to hit like 60. And then I didn't think I was going to get there though, because I kept hitting like the high 30s and then I got into the 40s. And then the last trip I was in the 50s and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm like in the 50s and it felt comfortable. It wasn't like out of control or anything. And then the next, like the day that I broke it, I hit 59.9. I was riding with a friend of mine who's like a pro and he must have been hitting like 75 because he was just like he smoked me and I'm like trying to keep up with him on this black and then like we hit like I hit like choppy snow and it just kind of like launched me and I just went and like the speed and the force I didn't tumble really.
Interesting.
It was like they said it's like it's called a pilon fracture. It happens when you normally from like jumping from like a great height or like a car accident.
Oh, so you went down.
Yeah,
It was
like the impact of my ankle bone, which is called the talus bone, like hit into the bigger, I always get them confused, the tibia, the fibula, and like shattered it from the bottom up.
God. Damn.
Yeah, it was like the worst pain I've ever been through.
Just bone on bone. Just
yeah.
shattering each other. Wow.
Yeah.
But she was out at camp hiking with us with her little sticks and stuff, just going with the ankle.
Yeah, you know,
did they have to put pins in it and all that stuff?
Yeah, so I had an external fixator on it, which was like drilled into my bones, like through my ankle bone, and like it was like these rods that like stuck out and like into my shin. I had that for 3 weeks, and then they put 4 plates and like 30 screws.
Wow.
But you know, that was March 26th when they finally did the final surgery, but it's still really swollen. I have like limited mobility. I'm in pain a lot. I'm like, as you can see, I'm like still limping. So I don't really know what's going on. My PT yesterday like freaked me out. She's like, you should be further along than you are now. Like, and so I am going to get like a couple second opinions because
Yeah.
It's still really,
it's just not healing.
Yeah. It's just for some reason, like my body's not draining the swelling and like, and I'm doing all the things. I mean, I'm doing like PT 3 times a week. I do peptides. I eat healthy. I'm doing everything they tell me to do. And like, it's still not,
Wow. Is it like the bone won't adhere to the pins and all that stuff? And it's just
I don't know, because when they've done X-rays, they said that the bone's like healing.
Yeah.
But for some reason, my leg maybe it just doesn't like all the hardware in there. Or something.
Yeah, that's crazy. Damn.
Yeah.
And what was it like? Did you had to be probably on some like gnarly pain stuff for
So,
that,
yeah,
right?
that was so challenging for me. I share this in meetings. Like my obsession to use had finally been lifted, you know, and like. I was so happy to be sober. And then like when I hurt myself, like even at the scene when it happened, like they were trying to take off my boot and like that was the worst. I like started to go into shock, you know, and they had
your foot out of that boot.
they had to give me like emergency fentanyl like at the scene and like it worked. They were able to get my boot off, but then like it's funny because like at the hospital they kept pumping me with like Dilaudid and then they were giving me Oxy. It was like
But you probably needed it.
I needed it. It was a
Yeah.
major like they said it was like the worst pilon fracture shatter they've like worked with. So it was really painful. I definitely needed it. I wasn't going to be like a martyr. But it's interesting because at first it was so like alien to have that like opiate feeling in my body again. I didn't like it. I was like, I want to be sober. I like literally cried to some of my friends and I was like, I don't like this feeling anymore. But after a month of it, then you get used to it.
Right.
And then that voice started to like activate in my head again. So yeah, that was like a whole other thing. Like I was really struggling. I was worried I was going to relapse.
Right. How'd you walk through that?
I just reached out to like my close friends and my sponsor and my family and told on myself a lot, you know, like I had these crazy thoughts where I was like, I could just inject my oxys because that's what they were doing at the hospital.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Medical.
Yeah, it's just quicker, you know, and then my sponsor was like, no, it's not the same thing, you know, like, and then, you know, yeah. So like, just like, if I didn't have like my tribe and like my family, like, I don't think I would have got through it. And so many of my friends like came and visited me all the time. And like my boyfriend was there helping me. Like, it was just, I'm so grateful for like the connections I made. I wouldn't have been okay. And people like, I didn't even think were like, would have cared or were I was even that close with, like came and visited me at the hospital, came and visited me at my house. I even had like, a group of like women, like they came over and like did like a prayer circle on me and then like and Reiki and like all this like healing. Yeah, it was really cool. And then to get off the medication, I had to get on Suboxone to get off the oxys.
Oh, wow.
So was it just like a normal detox process? Like did you wean yourself down?
Yeah, so I went to a pain management doctor and then they were able to put me on. I didn't have to wait. You know how like you usually wait before you take it?
Yeah.
They did it like some other way. I've never done it like this where I was able to still take the oxys as like prescribed and then slowly start taking Suboxone while I was on the I was so freaked out. I'm like, am I going to get
maybe
sick?
When you're taking it, like you're not overdoing it.
It's micro dosing Suboxone.
You'll get this. It's crazy. I was reading into this. That's why I was so interested to hear your experience. You can take normally, right? Like I went into precipitated when I was Like I took 8 milligrams.
Yeah.
6 hours into detoxing and thought I was going to die. Right. But what you can do and what they found out is you can continue using, right? And you're titrating it down and you're taking the tiniest doses of Suboxone, and it is slowly taking over the receptors over like the course of like 2 weeks.
Wow. Yeah, that's what it did. Like it slowly starts to flood your system. So then like you'll get to this point where like the oxys are no longer working and it's only the Suboxone. And then you can just stop taking the oxys and you're on it. Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
Wow.
Did you feel any sort of detox symptoms at all? Nothing.
It was great. I was like, why didn't I know this method before? It would have like, I would have been terrified more times.
Yeah.
But because all these other times it was like that 24-hour wait or 20 minimum.
It's
like,
the worst. You couldn't get through it.
Yeah.
Do you know what dose were they giving you to start? Do you know, or did you look into that at all?
I remember my films, I think were like just 2 milligrams, and then he would have me take like 1/8 of that.
Oh,
so it was like small.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then I did the Suboxone, and then to get off the Suboxone, they gave me like the Sublocade injection.
Okay.
So they would just slowly get out of my system. Yeah.
Wow. And then you felt fine after that.
Yeah.
Wow.
So,
dude, that's huge.
I'm trying to get what it's called.
What? The method?
I want to know what the method is. Just I want to.
Isn't it like microdosing Suboxone?
It's called the Bernese method.
Oh,
okay.
That's what it's called, right?
It.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to say anybody that's listening, right?
Yeah. So there's an actual name. Yeah, Bernese.
Yeah, that
method.
must be new. It must be newer.
Yeah. I think I remember reading into it. I think people had done it like in the past, but it just had not really come into a lot of mainstream.
Yeah.
I literally thought this doctor was incorrect. I'm like, are you sure?
I wouldn't have tried after precipitated withdrawal being the worst thing I've ever experienced in my life. I don't know if I would have trusted a doctor.
Protocol vary, but you start with a very low dose of Suboxone, like 0.25 or 0.5.
Okay.
Continue using the full opioid at the same time.
Yeah, like I literally called my cousin who's a doctor and he's in the recovery field too. And I'm like, is this correct? Because he's like
you don't want to
Suboxone like expert. And he's like, yeah, that's actually correct. You'll be fine. I'm like,
and then slowly increase the Suboxone dose over several days by 0.25 each day. And so, you fast forward 2 weeks, you run a full dose of subs, the opiates that you're using just don't have any more effect.
Yeah.
And you've isn't that
that's
like,
crazy.
why? How much pain?
Right.
You know what I mean? So many people are still going through.
Yeah. Listen, nobody wakes up one day and thinks, you know what'll be fun? Going to rehab. But sometimes life gets messy, and the bravest thing that you can do is admit that you need a reset.
At Oak Forest Recovery, we're not here to judge. We've been there. We know what it's like. We've been scared. We've been alone, using comedy and jokes to cover it all up. The good news is you don't have to do it alone. We have the tools, we've got the community, and we even have good coffee.
If you or someone you love is struggling, come see us. Healing doesn't have to be boring. It can even be fun, and we're here to help.
Anyways, I think that's incredible.
That
I feel like more places should do it. That's why I wanted to say it on camera for anybody that's listening.
Bernice.
Because the Bernice method, I first heard about it actually in Texas.
Through Rise?
Yeah.
Okay. So they do that there too?
Yeah, he mentioned it. But what they do, they're doing IV.
Right.
So they're like IV microdosing.
Oh. Of Suboxone?
Of Suboxone and some other things. They're a hospital setting. It's
yeah.
It's different. But they're IV microdosing and doing the Bernice method. And it's fascinating. It's crazy, right?
Wow.
Yeah.
Like who would have thought? I would have never thought. But yeah, it's
well,
great.
I'm really glad that you got through that. And like that, I love that method. You didn't have to go through any of that like pain and whatever, because that can be triggering itself, like being sick and going through that when you're sober, you know, like
that would have been the worst.
Yeah, I know. I know a lot of people that were close to me were like worried. They're like, this is gonna take her out.
Yeah, I've had to be on pain meds a couple times in my sobriety, and it's just like you said, like every time I wasn't on it for long periods of time. Like I had to get my appendix out, I had to go to the hospital a couple times, and I hated immediately. Like I liked how it felt, but I hated, like my head hated it.
You just feel like numb and disconnected.
I was like, I do not fucking like this. And I think it's like, you know, head full of AA. Once you have that and you know, like how beautiful sobriety is and stuff, and you've already like lost the obsession, then when it that feeling comes back, you're like, what the fuck, which is a blessing, you know. But yeah, I'm really glad you made it through that. And now let's start at the beginning of your journey, of your story.
Okay, like childhood.
Yeah, where are you from?
I'm from here originally.
You grew up in Agora?
Well, not Agora, like West Hollywood,
okay.
Beverly Hills. I was born in West Hollywood. My parents lived in like a little house in Beverly Hills. It was cute. Like, and then the big earthquake happened. We had to move.
Got it.
Because our house got like cracks in the walls and stuff. But
in
it was my mom.
The 97.
91.
Or was it 91?
93? Somewhere, not
maybe
97.
No, 90. Yeah, maybe you're right.
Because I was like 5.
Yeah.
My sister was a baby.
Yeah, I was 5 too.
You're 36?
Or are you? I'm born in 88.
I'm 89.
Yeah. So we were. I was 5.
Yeah.
So depending on the month.
So was living out there. My parents, had me and my sister, and my sister's 2 years younger, and everything was good. And then and they got divorced, and that was pretty hard, as it is for most kids. But I don't really remember them being together. It's just I just remember them being divorced. And then my sister, my mom, and I, we moved to Westchester, New York for a year. And then we moved to Ohio into like a small town called Sunbury.
Wow.
There was like one church, one market, just very cookie cutter, little like white suburban looking town. And then we would spend the summers with my dad. So I still got to see him, but just not as much. And life was good out in Ohio. I mean, it was a nice upbringing. It was pretty innocent for the most part, I have mostly just good memories out there. And then I came back here to Agora. At this point, we moved to Agora when I was going into 5th grade.
Okay.
And that's when everything went to hell.
That's what I thought. I was like, I thought you were from Agora.
Yeah, no.
Okay, so early childhood.
Early childhood, moved around a lot.
Ohio.
But I think the moving around a lot was difficult because I was shy and like introverted, and it was hard for me to like make friends, and then I'd have to be like uprooted again and like start over. And I'm just glad once we got to Agora, we didn't move again, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, I, 5th grade was good. 6th grade was some, like I lost my Nana, my mom's mom. And then a year later, my papa, my mom's dad, passed away in our house on Christmas Eve. And it was like when we were getting ready to go to church. So we were like, it was pretty traumatic. I like saw it happen, and like we tried to like resuscitate him. And yeah, so that was pretty hard. And then my mom went into like a deep depression after that. She would, you know, she was close to her parents, and she lost them, and then it was just her and her brother left, you know. And so she would be like mixing wine and like Xanax and like saying, I'm gonna kill myself. And it was difficult because then I had to take on like that parent role.
Yeah, and you're just a little kid.
Yeah. And so, and then I was resentful towards her. Like, and it's funny because as I got older, like I had this like resentment against like people. I don't know, it's gonna sound so weird, but when people were like suicidal or like would talk about that, it would make me so angry. And then I never could figure it out until like later on. I'm like, oh, it's because my mom was like presenting that, and I had resentment against her because of that, you know. And my dad was very good at like just being like, oh, she's fine, just, you know, ignore her. So I kind of just felt very dismissed, like there was no one that was like hearing me, that like what I needed. And then I was in fear, you know. And so I started to like look outside of myself at that time for, you know, substances. I'm sorry, I said 6th grade. I don't know why I said 6th. This was 9th grade.
Okay. Yeah. Going into high school.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Because I'm like, wait, I didn't start doing drugs. I was very innocent still in middle school. I mean, like, I was like, I'm not going to smoke or drink or have sex or any of that, you know? And yeah, so 9th grade. And then after that happened, I started to smoke weed, and I would start to drink. And we had a little group that would love to go to raves, take ecstasy. And that's kind of where I was like, this is it. Like I found the connection I've been looking for, and like the freedom and the liberation. And I just loved that feeling. And then,
and you were at Agora High School, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that didn't last too long. My mom found out. My like ex-boyfriend like left like all these pictures on the doorstep from my mom from like when we were at raves, and like just like a ton of just evidence of the things that we were doing, you know. And so
just to get back at you, like
we broke up,
and he was like so upset.
He was like, I'm telling your mom.
Shut the no way. Oh my God.
Yeah, it was like the ultimate revenge.
Yeah. Wow. Oh my God.
Yeah. So I got grounded for a while, and then I was like, oh, I got to clean up my act, and stopped going to raves for the most part. I just like started dating someone else, and like he was into coke, so started doing coke and just partying like normal. I was really good at like the double life. My parents didn't really like know what was going on anymore, you know. They thought I was doing well, and I would continue to get good grades, so it was easy to hide. Graduated, went to CSUN from Agora, and then that's kind of when things started to like really fall apart. Partially because I really didn't want to be there. I got accepted to Parsons in New York, which is like an art school. And I've always been like an artist at heart. And I wanted to go there. And my dad was like, no, it's too far. Like, you just should go to CSUN. And my dad is a great dad. Like, he is very loving and generous. But he did have this side to him because he's like Persian. And I don't know, he's just very like controlling in a way. Like, not, but in like the most loving way you can be controlling. But like, it was like he really wanted to shape me into like the ideal daughter, like what he saw for me, you know. All my friends' daughters and sons are doctors, and lawyers are pharmacists, and like here I am. I'm like, I just want to be a clothing designer, you know, like. So yeah, I stayed at CSUN, and then I was going up to Mammoth a lot, snowboarding, and I started to hang out with these guys up there, and they were like smoking something on foil, and it was oxys or Roxys, whatever at the time, you know. And so I started doing that, and then like I see it, like the disease is just like progressing, and but I'm not really noticing it. I'm not thinking it's that big of a deal. I come back to LA, I find a dirty doctor, get my own oxys, and continue just to do that and like hang out with like the party people that like to go to clubs on the weekend and get bottle service and like just do coke and ecstasy kind of thing.
And were you strung out on opiates at this point?
Yeah, so I was smoking
opiates
oxys all the time.
Do you remember the first time you got sick? I've got to meet clients that have come, you know, through finding O4S through my platform, and I think that's been one of the most special things. And then seeing them, I've seen people come in the beginning, and then I've seen them, you know, at bonfire or after, and seen like the light come back in their eyes and what a great experience they're having, and this new, you know, community that they have now that could last for the rest of their lives and has set them up like for a successful recovery. And I think that's one of the most beautiful things.
Yes. So like what ended up happening was I went to go study abroad in Rome for a month, and I was like, I'm going to leave all these pills behind. I just want to be present.
Yeah.
Like,
So you didn't know.
I didn't know what to expect.
So many of us don't know. We were just talking about it with Josh yesterday. It's like so many of us are just so unaware. RJ knew, but he just thought he was bigger, that it wasn't going to happen to him.
You didn't think it was going to happen to you?
My Davis, you know Davis.
Yeah.
He told me, he was like, I was with him my first year. He's like, dude, you don't want to do this. Like, you're going to get strung out. Like, you're going to be addicted. Like, it sucks. You're going to get sick. And I'm like,
yeah, right.
bro, come on, dude.
Yeah, no.
Like, come on, dude.
I'm
not
stronger
gonna get
than that.
sick. Like, I can stop if I want. And then you find out.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just had no idea.
Yeah, no, I didn't either.
So you, in your mind, you're like, all right, I'm going to go to Rome, study abroad. I'm just going to leave the pills. It's going to be a great like excuse for me not to do drugs anymore. And then you get there, and then what happens? You were probably sick by the time you were landing.
I think it started like the next day. And then I was supposed to be going to orientation, and I'm like, what is going on? I feel sick. I'm sweating. I can't like, it was such an ordeal to get out of bed and like go to these like things I had to go to. And so I would just start like drinking, because I'm like, anything to take the edge off, you know, and drinking always made it worse for me. I don't know.
I think 100%. Everything I would try to do coke, anything that I could get my hands on, and everything made it worse unless it was like another or Xanax. Xanax was only.
That's like
Xanax was the only one. But
Xanax just put you out.
Alcohol, you know what I mean? And all the other ones didn't help at all.
Yeah, it was gnarly. I was like, what is going on, you know? And then I kind of like figured it out, and I remember I was like trying everything I could over there to try to get something. I'm like in a foreign country. I don't speak the language. I'm like trying to get like codeine from their like pharmacy.
Yeah. Is it like kind of like how Mexico is? Can you get stuff like that in the pharmacy or what?
I thought it was like over the counter, and I got some weird thing, and I was like trying to smoke it. Did not work. And then I like went to the hospital, tried to see if they would give me something. They didn't. And then I ended up going like the last route, which was this is a whole nother long story, but I was dating this guy at the time that lived in Canada. So he flew me out to Toronto, and I had like a Oxy 80, like the OC, like the original ones, hook up out there. Yeah. So I didn't have that much money at the time, so I was able to just get a few, and then I'd come back, and then I'd be okay for a couple of days, and then I get sick all over again. And then I ended up flying back and forth between Toronto and Rome 3 times that month.
Holy shit.
Yeah, that's like a 12 hour flight each way.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And then I even had them like delivered to my school mailbox one time. I remember it came in like little like hot cocoa packets. So I was like, what the heck? But yeah, so I didn't make it to class. I ended up like not going to class. But somehow I didn't fail. Like one professor like just kind of knew there was something up with me, and he was like, just turn a paper in at the end. And I was like, okay. And then the other one I was able to drop because it wasn't like a necessary class. I think it was just like an art class I didn't need or something. So just most of Rome was being drunk or getting sick or getting high, and then just kind of sightseeing, you know, in between all that.
Wow. And so you were out there, so it was a month.
Yeah, 1 month.
Okay. And then you come back from Rome.
I come back, and my parents like figured out that there was something. I think what happened is like, so when I had the dirty doctor, I was like running my pills through insurance, and it was under my parents' insurance.
And you're still on their insurance.
Yeah, so my dad was like, what the fuck is all this? Like, you're getting 300 Roxys a month. And it was like, not just that, it was like Somas, Adderall, Xanax, Valium, and then like Suboxone. I'm like, this doesn't make
just
sense.
In case
Yeah.
Was it a crooked doctor in the valley?
He was in Simi.
Oh,
he got his
insane.
license taken away. Like, so my dad ended up like going into a lawsuit against him with like a few other families because he had like clients die and stuff, or patients die.
Yeah. What was his name?
Dr. Goodman.
Oh, Goodman. I don't know. I remember there was like.
Sorry, Dr. Goodman, if you're watching this.
No, but that's. I mean, he deserved to be.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah, I know.
It's insane.
That was prime time. What year is this? Like 2000?
2000, probably 11, maybe.
Yeah, prime time.
Yeah, because it was
doctor time.
Or 2000, I get the dates so mixed up. 2007, I graduated, but I was in rehab the first time 2009, so maybe it was before that. Then. Yeah. So I came back, went to rehab. Pretty much, they're like, the game's up. Like, they figured it out that there was something going on, and I went to rehab for 30 days and thought I was cured, and so started to drink when I got out, and then we all know how that usually leads to using again.
Go right back to where you were.
Yeah. But this time, my mom had now moved back back east. She was working in Manhattan, living in Connecticut. And so I was like visiting her out in Connecticut, and I went to go meet up with a friend out there for like a birthday party. And I was like, I want some oxys. I was drunk, and then I changed my mind, and I was like, I want heroin. Like, I heard about it in the treatment center, and went on this like crazy like exploration to find it, and then like ended up finding it and like Googling like how to shoot up, and then
oh shit,
yeah, and then I'm by the grace of God, I didn't like OD on like China White, like I didn't really know what I was doing. So yeah, and I hated that too. Like, it made me feel sick. Like, I literally could not stop throwing up. And yeah, but then I couldn't stop. Like, I went back home, and that's all I could think about. I was like, I need to get more. Yeah.
Then what happens from there?
Then I became a full-blown heroin addict,
How long did that go on for?
Like 16 years about.
16 years.
Yeah, total. Wow. Yeah, and then it was like meth came into the picture. And
were there rehab stints during that 16 years?
A lot of rehab, in and out of rehab for many years.
So your parents know at this point. There's no like hiding it.
And it's just constant chaos.
Yeah, it was just like in and out of rehab. I would go, I would stay for 2 weeks. I'd get the itch. I would leave. I would come back. It was exhausting, and then I would start getting arrested. And once you start getting arrested, that doesn't seem to stop either, and, I didn't have a place to live anymore. I was living out of either my car or at people's houses, or I loved living in the back of like U-Hauls. That was like a thing that I would love to do.
Yeah.
Sounds so weird, right?
You're like my little artsy.
No, I rented a U-Haul once. When I was in active addiction. It was the greatest thing ever.
Right?
Yeah.
It was like the best.
The van, right? And then you take out the middle cage. You can like unbolt it and then like hang up a curtain so you can just like walk back and forth. We like would black out the windows. Yeah. It was just like a little like it's just like the bathroom situation is what sucks. Like having to pee like in bottles or like just like it's just like the worst of the worst. You just like you get so low when you're living like that.
That's you're down
but it
bad.
becomes
You're
so
not
normalized though
Yeah.
that I think you're just like, and our brains are probably like, yeah, this is actually, I'm thriving right now.
Yeah.
The delusion that we're in, we're like, this is not so bad.
No, yeah.
It's terrible.
Yeah, but I would try to get clean because I always like, I could see what it was doing to my family, and it really hurt my parents, and I was just like, I felt so guilty and conflicted, but I just couldn't do it. Like, I wanted to want sobriety, but I didn't want it for a long time, and I knew I had to hit rock bottom, but I just didn't know when that rock bottom was going to be because it just like things just kept getting worse. But it was weird because like, part of me really liked living like that. Like I didn't have responsibilities. I didn't have any like appointments or anything. Like I just could get high and hang out with whoever and go wherever. And it sucked when like you don't have like a hustle to make money, but then like once you've like I would make money different ways. I was like, this is not bad, Like I like did a ton of different things to make money that I didn't feel good for my soul, but it got me by.
Yeah. Crazy. 16 years.
Yeah.
So what did rock bottom look like?
So there was like I had like a spiritual rock bottom first. I like I said, I was like, things were really hard for a long time. Didn't have a stable place to live, and I didn't really have money most of the time. Like when I was working like these underground poker games, and then I started escorting, and during that time I was good. I had a lot of money.
Yeah.
But then like after that, it was like there was this period of a few years where I wasn't doing that anymore just because I couldn't take it. And like it was just like I didn't want to do that to myself anymore, you know?
What caused you to choose to become a part of the Oak Forest team?
The first time you came out, I was like, oh my gosh, this is my family. These are my best friends now. And I immediately felt very drawn to the Oak Forest community. I think it's really beautiful, from just the bonfire meeting and people not even necessarily needing to go through Oak Forest to go to that. And then also knowing that they have this safe community, or if someone needs help, they can go through this program that has changed so many lives. I love that it's like a family and tribe, like you call it. From seeing how many people have gone through there and then decide to work at Oak Forest and help others and want to stay in that community because they love it so much, I think that's truly something I haven't seen anywhere else.
My greatest hustle was like finding receipts out of trash cans and like stealing the item, you know, and like that doesn't do a very good job of getting you a lot of cash. So I finally had like gotten like deeper into like the criminal underworld and like got into fraud, and that was like my niche, and I was able to make a lot of money like that. And so my spiritual rock bottom happened when my ex and I, we were able to like get a nice apartment in Marina Del Rey. It was right there on the water. It was 2-bedroom. We had like a puppy, a brand new puppy. I still have her. She's amazing. And then like I had a Hellcat. Like it was like my dream car, and I was shopping all the time. It was like I was never
like
sick.
Big time fraud.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like I was doing well, you know.
Yeah.
And I was like, but then I had a realization one day in that apartment, and I'm like, I have everything that I didn't have before, and I'm still miserable. You know, I'm still so miserable and unfulfilled. And it was crazy. I lived like walking distance from the beach, and I barely went there. You know, I just stayed holed up in that apartment, like trying to find a vein. Like, I just remember like the incomprehensible, I can never say that word, demoralization, like these moments where I would be sitting on the floor, like sobbing with like blood all over me, because I would be sometimes for like 5 hours trying to find, and I'm so stubborn. Like I'm the most, I would not give up. And like people would be like, just smoke it. Or I'm like, no, I need to find, it was like this mission. Right. But I would be feeling so pathetic. And I just remember like crying, and I couldn't stop crying, and I couldn't stop myself. And it's like, those were like those lows that I remember. And I'm like, this is terrible, you know? And, I just knew in that moment when I like realized that at that apartment, like that I wouldn't have like true happiness until I got sober.
Right.
So, and at this point I got off probation finally too. So I was like, I don't know what's going to happen. 'Cause it's usually like getting arrested was like what led me to make my next rehab stint. But what ended up happening was I did get arrested again, you know. We lost that apartment. We got evicted eventually, and we moved to the Valley again. And I knew once I came back to the Valley, I was going to get in trouble. It was just like a matter of time. And we were living at some like trap house out there. I just remember like feeling like so unsafe all the time, you know, like people in and out of the house all the time. I was always worried that my dog was she was gonna like find someone's fentanyl, or like, you know what I mean? She got lost actually. Like our roommate left the door open when we weren't home, and we came back. It was on Saticoy and Winnetka. So it was like a busy area. And Bandit, my doggie, she was like gone. And I remember that was like one of the worst times I went through in my addiction, but it was such a helpless feeling. She was gone for 9 days. I did everything I could to try to find her. We ended up hiring a pet detective. I know it sounds funny, but she's for real. This lady, like, I give it all to her. Like, she had her bloodhounds come out and like sniff bandage trail of where she went.
No way.
And then she showed us like where it ended, and she's like, I would focus your search in this area. So we went like door to door on these streets. And an hour later, someone called me and was like, my friend has your dog. We got like, you just left a flyer on her door. Yeah.
Thank God.
I know. I was just like, oh my God. Cause I would have, always blamed myself if we didn't find her. We didn't leave the door open, but obviously we were in a trap house. We were living with people that were not well. Like, it was irresponsible.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm glad we got her back. And, so living there was just a lot of like turmoil, a lot of drama, a lot of just using. And then I ended up getting arrested. I was going to Walgreens to pick up rigs. I was already sick. I didn't have anything, but like I knew the dope was on the way to the house. So I was like, I'm going to go get my needles and be prepared, and it was in Arleta, the Walgreens in Arleta. It's the area. And then I ended up just like parking kind of like not in a spot just because I was doing something on my phone real quick, and I see these cops pull in, and I'm like, oh no, they're gonna come after me. So I backed my car into a spot real quick to try to jump out and go into the store, like that trick where you think they're not gonna bother you then. But before I could jump out, like they like pulled up in front of me and parked in front of me and like turned their lights on, and I just like looked at them and they just looked at me, and I was like, nope. And I just turned my car back on, like drove around them and just like took off.
No.
Yeah.
Oh my
high-speed chase.
Yeah.
No.
Let's get into the high-speed chase. Yeah.
It wasn't that long. It was like 3 minutes.
You were
it
just
felt
terrified.
like forever.
Yeah. Because you didn't want to kick in jail.
No. And I had so much shit in my car that I was like, it's worth trying to get away, because we had just moved. So I had all the fraud and evidence and all the tools, everything. We had mailbox keys that were opening up people's apartment. It was like federal stuff in that car, And I had this false sense of like confidence because like about a couple months before, when we were in Marina, we got pulled over also out there, and I got away that time. My boyfriend at the time was in the car. He was like, turn this way, this way. He like directed me, and like we parked, we got out, we had Bandit in the car with us, and we were like just walking around the neighborhood, and they couldn't tell who we were because our windows were so dark and it was nighttime. Right. So we got away and the car didn't get taken, and so I was like, I think I can do it again, but this time I'm alone. I'm in Arleta. I don't know the area. I've never seen so many cops come out of the woodwork. Like every street that I passed, it was like another one was coming. I'm like, what the fuck? Yeah. And once you start, you're like, oh, I shouldn't have done this. But I was like, I can't stop. I ended up like pulling down a dead end, and then like having to turn around, and like I almost hit a cop car as I'm like turning, and I like waved at him. I was like, sorry. Like, it's like, I always remember that because he looked at me like, I'm like, what? Sorry.
Yeah.
Still have manners during a little high speed race, Yeah.
Oh my God.
And then I just remember like pulling across intersections like, God, please don't let me kill someone. Because, I would just like, wouldn't even look. And I'm just like going this way and that way. And then I got away for a minute at the end. And I'm like, oh, I'm good. And I pulled down another dead end. And I'm like, fuck, I can't keep running. And I see someone's gate is like open. They have like this driveway where maybe if I pull in, they can't see my car. So I pull in there, and like I had this like box of like IDs and cards and stuff that I usually would keep underneath my car. It was like magnetic, but this time I was sloppy as hell this day. Like everything was just everywhere. I had like ice cream that was like I just got, and it was like all over me because it like spilled in the high speed chase. And I jumped out of the car real quick. There's no cops behind me. I throw all this stuff in this person's trash can outside, and I look up and there's a helicopter. So I was just like, okay, I'm fucked. Yeah. But I still like try to walk away, like all calm, like it wasn't me. And the cops start pulling down the street, and like the first one was like, you stop. I'm like, what? And he's like, stop or I'll take you down. And I'm like, okay, I'm coming over to you now. Like, yeah, and it was funny though because I actually like asked them if I could get off with a warning.
I feel like you really genuinely believe that is an outcome that would work.
Yeah.
When you're in that state,
I was like, I didn't have a license. I got scared.
I think every time I've been arrested, for like shoplifting and everything like that. Every time they take you to the back, I'm like, I'll pay for it right now. No, it's fine.
Please.
Like, I'm genuinely in my
sorry.
brain, I'm like, there's got to be a way. But they're
or
just
like you
gonna
say,
let
like
me
you
go.
forgot. Like I remember I got like they didn't arrest me, but it was like Bloomingdale's. I'm surprised they didn't arrest me, but I had like a bracelet on that I forgot to take off, and they were like, okay. And I had like wire cutters in my bag and stuff. I'm like, that's for an art project. Anyways, yeah. But that was like one of these situations where I'm like, can you guys let me off with a warning? And they're like, we'll talk about it at the station.
You just tried to evade the police.
Yeah. They were not happy. The ones like the original ones were super pissed. Like they were like out of breath and like screaming at me. And like if I was a dude, they for sure would have beat me up.
Oh,
I know. I'm like, I'm a girl. You can't do anything.
Just a girl.
Yeah.
Literally just a girl.
In your experience with treatment, how special is Oak Forest?
Oak Forest is very special. I've had my fair share of treatment experiences. I've even worked in treatment myself. And Oak Forest is like something I've never really experienced before. And I think that it's almost something that like cannot be replicated anywhere else, at least from what I've seen, right? And so it's just like this community and the love and the support that goes from the beginning of the process, and not even just with the clients, with the families, with everything else. Like everything that I have seen goes above and beyond. And like beyond, even as like all of these people are being employed long after they have completed treatment, right? And I think that right there says everything.
It was funny too. They thought that there was a guy in the car. They like barricaded around it because you couldn't see in. The windows are so dark, and they're like on their thing, like get out, put your hands up.
You're like, there's nobody in there.
I'm like, there's no one in there, and I'm like laughing at them, and I'm like, they're like, no, where's the guy? Where's the driver? I'm like, there's no other person. And then I'm like, oh, I'm such an idiot. I should have been like, he went that way.
Yeah.
He held me captive, you know? But so I got taken to the station, and I got bailed out. It was during COVID. I thought they would have released me, but they're like, no, this charge is one of the charges we don't release on because you evaded us. So I'm like, shit, you know, but my ex, he bailed me out. And then I went to court. It was just for evading. I was like, this is not going to last, because I knew all the stuff that was in the car. And then when I went back a few months later.
Did they take the car?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
They took it because it was purchased under a profile, but like it didn't show up as stolen, but they knew there was something up with the car. And it was funny because I even tried to go back and get it when it was like before they put a hold on it.
Yeah.
And like they included that in the report. Like,
That you tried to get it.
Yeah. I was like, what an idiot. I should have just let it go, you know? But it just shows like the illusion like that your mind creates when you're using. Like I just thought like I could get away with everything, you know? And then ended up going to court a few months later, and now I have 18 felonies I'm looking at.
Damn.
So that
all from that one.
Yeah. It was all
18.
like identity theft. It was like GTA, and then the evading, and then the rest of them was like identity theft.
Wow.
So I was like, I'm fucked, you know. I continued to go use. I ended up getting arrested again in another county while I was out on bail, like a few months later.
For what?
Trying to get another car.
Wow.
They set me up, and like they were like everything was all good, and then they were like, they found out last minute, and they set me up, and I went in there, and I'm like, they signing the papers, and then these cops walked in and arrested me.
Because you were getting cars under false identities. Right.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So I knew.
So then you added another felony.
Yeah. So when I went back to court, like this is like when I went back to court, it was like I finally made like a good choice for myself, because I remember my attorney was talking to me outside, and he's like, they're going to remand you when you go in. They think you're a danger to society. Like you are on bail, and you got arrested again, like for the same shit. So just prepare yourself. And at this time I'm still using. I'm like, I'm not going to go in then and be sick. Like, fuck that, you know? And I just remember looking at my dad, and he just like, he looked so hopeless. Like he was like, you're really going to do this again, you know, like you're going to run again. And I just couldn't do it to him. And I was like, fuck it. I'm going to go in and see what happens. So thank God, because I went in and my attorney was like, we're going to give you house arrest. They gave me house arrest instead of putting me in jail that day. And if I had ran, it would have went the whole other direction, you know? So I'm still using, I go back to the trap house, but now I have an ankle monitor on. And then it was like a series of like events happened that I call, it was like the perfect storm, you know, like I ended up ODing for the first time. I had never OD'd in all those years. And it was like a bad one. I almost died. My ex had to give me CPR, Narcan, like the whole thing, you know? And I know a lot of people OD and then they're like, man, it's fine. And they get mad that they get Narcan and they continue using. But that wasn't my story. I think maybe because I had gone so long without experiencing that, I thought I was like invincible or had it down, you know? Yeah. And it was terrifying to wake up like that. I was so out of it, even with the Narcan, that I was still like, I didn't get sick.
My worst OD too. I wasn't sick at all. Right? And then I went to the hospital. They had to observe me for like 6 more hours and give me more Narcan, and I was still nodding out.
Yeah, see, that's like what happened to me. I was like so out of it still. Like my ex kept putting me in the shower and I just like. And I was on house arrest, so I was like, when the paramedics got there, I was like, I'm not going because I knew I would get in trouble. So he had to just keep like an eye on me and keep me in the shower, and then after that, about 1 week later, I have this staph infection on my foot from trying to shoot in my foot. And I was like, I can't do this anymore. And I called my dad and I was like, Dad, I'm ready. Like, can you take me? I need to go to the hospital first because I have a staph infection. And I've had a lot of staph and cellulitis before. And I've been septic before. Like I almost died at one point. So I'm like, I just don't want to leave this untreated. And he just like he dropped everything he was doing and just, he knew like, if I don't take this window, like of opportunity, she'll change her mind. Because that's how quickly, you know, our minds can change.
Right.
And he came and he picked me up and I was like tweaking out on, I don't know what I was doing. I was like really into like wigs and like colored contacts when I was using. And I was like organizing all my colored contacts. Like I'm talking about different like hundreds. Yeah. They ended up taking all my wigs when I got arrested. I had IDs with different colored wigs on. Like I'm like, oh my God, I look like so crazy in these pictures. But I'm like, where the fuck are all my wigs? And I remember looking at the report. And they were on the ground outside the trunk. Like they had taken pictures of them and then they took them. But anyways, so I was tweaking out. My dad's like, get in the car. Like we're going now. And I'm like, okay, fine. And like, he took a picture of me. I have it. I use it a lot in my recovery like videos, like my last picture, because I'm like, my face is super swollen and like I have crazy looking colored contacts in that do not look natural at all. And like a body chain on like underneath like my hospital gown, and my hair is like and like orange, and it was just like, it's just crazy, you know? But I got really blessed because the hospital that he took me to was in San Pedro, and my cousin was working there as an internist at the time. So he was able to detox me while I was there. Oh, wow. So I didn't go to like a normal detox. I detoxed in the hospital, got my meds for my foot. And then when I got out, they knew I couldn't go back to that house. So my parents were like, you can move in like with your mom back to my childhood house, you know? And then my ex and I were very codependent, and like we were together for like 5 years, 4 years at this time. But he's like, well, I'm gonna get sober too. He went to treatment like a month later. He moved in with my mom and I.
And you're under house arrest still.
Yes. Yeah. And then it was perfect timing too, because we got evicted from the trap house too. Yeah. It was like everything happened like for me to get sober, but at the time I'm like, why is this all happening to me? You know. But I was just so tired of like fighting and like the hustle, and it's exhausting, you know? Right. So I'm on house arrest, living with my mom and my ex. I could only leave for doctor appointments, and that was for 19 months. I didn't leave the house unless I was going to the doctor. Wow. And then the judge allowed me to do like 6 months of outpatient. I could do that 3 times a week.
And what year was this?
This was my sobriety date's 4/26/22.
22, okay.
So I'm
a couple years into COVID, things had started already kind of open up. Yeah. And you're locked in at home.
Yeah. you know, thank God, like we had a nice house with a nice backyard, a pool and stuff.
A lot better than jail.
And, yeah, much better than jail.
For sure.
So, and I just used that opportunity to like really clean house. You know, like I did my steps. I got into a sponsorship family. One of my high school friends, she invited me into her sponsorship family, and they would meet on Zoom and in person. I obviously had to do it on Zoom. But then they started to bring the meeting to my house, and I got to my year. They gave me my cake at my house. Yeah,
so great.
These ladies are so special, and like we're all so different, but they're just so special to me, you know, because they really helped me through that time. And it was hard, like the first couple of years, like I ended up, my cousin ended up dying from a fentanyl overdose, like within my first year of sobriety.
Listen, nobody wakes up one day and thinks, you know what'll be fun? Going to rehab. But sometimes life gets messy, and the bravest thing that you can do is admit that you need a reset.
At Oak Forest Recovery, we're not here to judge. We've been there. We know what it's like. We've been scared. We've been alone, using comedy and jokes to cover it all up. The good news is you don't have to do it alone. We have the tools, we've got the community, and we even have good coffee.
If you or someone you love is struggling, come see us. Healing doesn't have to be boring. It can even be fun, and we're here to help.
So I couldn't go to the funeral because I'm on house arrest. And I just remember like being home, and I was like, I couldn't work out. Right? I worked out like in my living room off like YouTube TV, like channel things. And I just remember hearing my mom like screaming in the backyard, you know, like when you find out someone died, and just not being able to go and like get closure from that. That was really hard. And then my childhood, like one of my childhood best friends that came back into my life after all these years, she was like at my house helping me like unpack all my stuff from storage. I had like 3 storage units full of stuff, and she was like helping me go through it. And like we were like making all these plans, and then like she was supposed to come over, and I didn't hear from her, and then I found out she died. She committed suicide. So it was like a lot of loss in the first year, and you know, thank God I was on house arrest and like stuck it in Agora where no one wants to come deliver drugs to you. And I probably, you know, I couldn't do that to my mom anyways. And my ex was living there. Him and I were holding each other accountable. And like I had these women. So I stayed sober, and then I'm fighting this court case. Yeah, it was a lot went on that first year. Then the doctor thought I had a tumor. That was like a whole other thing because I had like elevated prolactin. It was just like, then they're like, you don't have a tumor, but you've had a stroke. And I'm like, what? Like, so it was just, I didn't end up having one, but it was just like a lot of like tests from God, like a lot of tests, like how bad do you want this? I'm going to throw a bunch of things at you and see if you can get through it, you know? And, I ended up then like I had the looming court case over my head, and my attorney was like, we're going to get you probation. I'm like, really? For all those charges? And I already have identity theft on my record a few times. Like, I don't think so. But he was convinced. And then like we went to court and we tried to get like mental health diversion. That didn't work. Finally we go to court, and they're like, look, we're going to give you 32 months in prison. That's the best we can do. If you do not take that deal today, it's off the table and you're only going to get more time. So we went from thinking we were going to get like one thing to like, okay, I guess I have to go to prison. It's, you know, I would have had to do like a year and a half or something, like half time. But no one wants to go, even if it's for like a week, you know, but at the same time, I'm like, okay, I did these things. I need to be accountable. You know, part of me thought like I deserved to go because I'd gone off so many times in the past. I mean, the longest I've ever been in jail was 2 months. Every time I would get rehab or I would just escape the system somehow, you know. So I signed the plea, and then everyone was pretty like depressed that day. And I went home, and I like also had that challenge again where I'm like, am I going to use over this, or am I going to stay sober, you know? And I decided to stay sober. I'm like, I did have that like pity party for like a day, but I was like, fuck it. You know, if I go into prison, I can be a tool in there. I'll help women in there. I'm not going to let this deter me anymore. I'm not going to let the fucking drug win again, you know? So I stayed sober and I just prepared everything. I had a couple months to turn myself in, and I wanted to get through my amends for the most part, which I did. And then I remember like right before the night before court, the ladies came over from my sponsorship family and they like put hands on me. They prayed over me, and I went to court, and I went up front it was like I swear it was like such a spiritual moment for me that day, because I didn't have any anxiety when I was up there. Like up until that point I did, but being up there in that moment, I felt the presence of God like with me.
You were like in acceptance.
I was in acceptance, right?
Whatever the outcome was.
Yeah, because I had to change my mindset from like praying, oh God, get me out of this, to God, give me the ability to accept whatever happens, you know? That's really what I wanted, was to have acceptance and surrender in this capacity, you know? And so the DA that was normally there, who really disliked me, was not there this day. It was like some woman who wasn't familiar with the case. But she was still trying to like argue against my attorney, because my attorney was like, look, the best we can do is try to get you some credit for your house arrest, but they don't have to give it to you, because it's like, I don't remember, something with the law that you don't have to grant it. So they were going back and forth, and then the judge actually stepped in on my behalf and was like, no, I want to give her the credits. And the DA was like trying to fight against the judge. And then finally she just went, I submit, Your Honor. And he's like, okay. And like, they like calculated it up, and it was like equal to overtime served. So he's like, you're going straight to parole status. And I'm just sitting up there just like, what? Like I had like my warm jacket on, ready to go down. I did not expect that outcome, you know, and I could hear my mom like sobbing with relief in the background. And I remember turning around, and my dad gave me this like look, like this wink, and like he had tears in his eyes. And it just was like, I'm like, just felt like so grateful that like God like believed I was a better tool out here than I would have been in there, because I think that's what it came down to, you know. Right. And that the judge was like, saw that I was genuine in my transformation and wanting to be sober and do something different, you know. So I got taken off house arrest that day. I didn't have to go to jail. And my life just went like in the best way. And I just kind of made a vow to myself, you know, like, and to God, I was like, I will not take this lightly. Like I've been given a reprieve, and I'm not going to go back no matter what, you know?
Right. It's incredible.
Yeah. And now you work in treatment and have a sober living.
Yeah. So that was in November of 2023. And then February 2024, my partners and I opened up Namaste. Wow. Sober living. It's an all women sober living. And
how's that? So are you in the house often with the girls?
Yeah, I was just there last night. I missed a few months while I was like on leave.
Right.
So it's been nice being back acquainted with them. Like we do a big book study every Monday night where everyone like will sit down and have like dinner together. And I just love bringing like different kind of activities to them. Like we'll have breathwork come, and you know, the usual stuff like breathwork, meditation, yoga. But then I'm like, let's go do this. Like I like doing different things with them. Like I'm trying to get a few of them to come with me to that Daybreakers event I was telling you about. So I think I have a few on board
next year. And they're all coming to camp next year.
Camp next year. I think we're actually going to the beach this Saturday. Just like, you know, it's funny. One of my best friends today, she came through Namaste as a client when we first opened. Yeah. And she lives in Venice now, and like she's one of my best friends. Yeah. And so it's like this house has blessed my life in so many ways. Like she brought her into my life. It's brought all these women that like I've been able to watch grow. It's brought women that have challenged me and myself, and like where I like see how I was, because I was the worst client, and these women like are amazing, but there's always been like a challenging one in the past, you know, and like I'm like, that was me, you know. I mean, I was so entitled and like and arrogant when I was going to treatment. I remember I tried to leave one time because they wanted me to do dishes for 2 weeks. Oh yeah, you know, like it's just I didn't think the rules applied to me, and yeah, it's been great. It's been really, really, really wonderful. And I've gotten sponsees through that. You know, 2 of my sponsees came through the house. And, yeah, it's been good. And now I also do business development for a treatment center called Restore Health and Wellness. That's awesome. Like, yeah. And then I do other things too. I mean, I'm starting this, like, I've always been an artist, like I said in the beginning, right?
Yeah.
And I'm finally at a place where I feel like I can kind of venture with that. I've been working on these like flannels.
I saw the flannels. They're really cool.
I call them like grunge couture flannels. You know, they're like one of a kind pieces. And I've been working on them since like 2014, but I just never did anything with them. And now I'm like, you know what? I'm finally going to get them out there, because people always say like, oh, where'd you get that? Or I want one. Or I'm like, I'm not going to like, I'm at this place where I don't want to let fear rule me, because I let it rule me for so long and prevent me from like trying new things. And
I've got to meet clients that have come, you know, through finding a forest through my platform, and I think that's been one of the most special things. And then seeing them, I've seen people come in the beginning, and then I've seen them, you know, at bonfire or after, and seeing like the light come back in their eyes and what a great experience they're having, and this new, you know, community that they have now that could last for the rest of their lives and has set them up like for a successful recovery. And I think that's one of the most beautiful things.
Yeah, I'm like a big lover of life now. Like, I love to like try new things. I like to say yes to things, right?
She likes to say yes to everything. Because I'll tell you what, I was saying it all weekend when we were at camp. I'm like, if I had an ankle that was shattered, even if it was a year later, I probably wouldn't. I would probably just be on my couch like depressed. And you're just doing everything.
But you might think that
it might be
different.
Comes
down to it, because like I did the TV thing for like a month, and then I was like, I can't do this anymore.
I'm gonna lose my mind.
Yeah,
I mean, I was then as soon as my surgery was done, I like went into the gym on my knee scooter, because I was like, I can't do this anymore. I need to get out.
She did. I've seen her.
I believe it.
Strolling in.
I believe it. Yeah.
Strolling it.
Yeah. It's great. It's great.
Yeah, but I do really believe though, like when you say yes, like your doors will open and you'll meet people, and that's kind of like how I trust that I'm in God's will. I mean, I don't know if God's will is for me to say yes to everything, but I think it is. Because every time I do, it always leads to something bigger and greater. And, right? It's like that movie Yes Man.
Yeah. Yes Man. Yeah. I love that.
Right.
Yeah.
So what's next? I think you guys just talked about it, right?
Yeah. Her sick flannels
living.
And getting in touch with her artsy side. And
yeah, I just really want to explore like my artistic side more and do something with that.
Right.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
So
awesome.
We'll see what's next. I hopefully would like to have like a family too one of these days. You know, I'm 36. I'm like, I would like to have a kid.
And God's going to provide, girl.
Yeah. That's like next on my list too.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. So
cool.
Lots of fun things in the future.
Yeah. From I mean, it's a lot of years to be running the way that you did.
Yeah.
You know, and to go from that was 19 felonies.
18. But
18.
Yeah.
But then didn't you get another one when you got?
Oh, it was 18 total.
Okay, 18.
Yeah.
18 felonies, house arrest, getting sober on Zoom, and then not having to serve any time. I mean, it's incredible.
You know, what's crazy too is when I got like after all that and I got off house arrest and I got that court case was done. This is another thing that God put in my path. Like right around the time I opened up Namaste, I ended up getting arrested in recovery because I had that court case from that car I tried to get. They had dropped it and then they refiled and they didn't tell me, or my attorney didn't know, my probation officer didn't know. The only reason we found out was because I was in Big Bear and I was driving back and they pulled me over and they're like, you have a warrant. And they took me in and I'm like, what the fuck? So I actually got arrested in sobriety. I was wearing a shirt that said, shoot your local heroin dealer. And they were like, are there any needles in the car? I'm like, I'm sober, read my shirt, you know, like, but you know, and it was challenging because I'm like, oh my God, here we go again. Another court case I'm going to have to go through.
Yeah.
And this was in San Bernardino, you know, I'm like, And then my probation wanted to violate me because they're like, you got arrested on probation. I'm like, for a warrant that you guys didn't even know about. Like, no one knew about this. So they ended up not violating me. And like last minute, she's like, well, we looked more into it. And I'm like, thank you. Like, yeah. And then, you know, I just trusted in God again, and God came through. Like, they were able to pull that charge in with the case from LA and just like include it with that and give me time served for that.
Wow.
So on paper, I've been to prison twice, but I've never been.
Right.
Because I was supposed to do a prison sentence for that too.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and then I was like, it restarted my probation, which I wasn't really happy about, but I just did everything I was supposed to. I had to go to this outpatient like probation class, which is not like outpatient up here. It's like this place in like Sylmar.
Okay.
And there's all people that just got out of prison.
Yeah.
And like, oh God, yeah. But I would go. I went once a week, you know, and then I did everything right. And then at 6 months, and my probation for some reason was all the way in South LA, so I had to drive there. And I went down there and I met with the supervisor of like that. And I'm like, can I please get off at 6 months? They're like, people never get off at 6. Like they'll get off because you have 3 years, right? And maybe a year if you're good. 6 months, you have to be like an A student, like nothing wrong. But I went and I presented everything to him. I'm like, I am an A student. Like I've been sober, I'm working, I've been living at the same place. Like nothing like is wrong. Like please let me get off so I can like move on with my life, you know?
Right.
And he's like, I'm going to look into your case myself. And then he granted it. And I got off at 6 months.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
So I'm like, it's just been blessing after blessing, you know? And
yeah. It just shows like when you're doing the wrong thing,
everything wrong goes
shit just
right?
gets fucked
It's
up.
Yeah.
Murphy's law, right?
Yeah,
like
for sure.
it's but it seems
Anything that can't go wrong will
enhanced
go wrong.
when you're using, right?
Yeah.
I truly believe it has to do with like that negative like energy. You just like draw more negativity into your life.
Oh yeah, definitely. And then when you're doing the right thing, I feel like I've seen so many stories where people are facing like the craziest charges, and then they have this time and they get sober and they do these things, and then the judge like miraculously something happens where they don't need to go to prison for the rest of their lives.
Yeah.
And it just shows you like, when you're doing the right shit, crazy miracles
Things just happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again and again.
Things that you just don't believe until they happen, you know? I think it's part of that like trusting God thing, and like things will be good.
Yeah. I always like said that like when I was in my addiction, I felt like I was like walking against the current. Like everything was just so difficult, and I, you know, and then like when I got sober, it's like you go with the current. It's easy, like, and then there's like a little riptide, but you just get thrown off course a little bit and you get back, you know. But it's just not. It's not so difficult. It's not, you know. Life is just, it flows better, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
Rad. Well, I appreciate you coming on.
Yeah.
Appreciate you guys having me.
Yeah, this is great.
Yeah.